Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. I love helping people save more of their own hard-earned money. Welcome to the Save Money and More with Jan channel. How you doing today? Hope everybody's doing well. Let me know how you're doing in the comment section below. I want to jump right into it. I'm jumping right into 7 ways to deal with grocery inflation. Well, I'm just going to let you know what I do, and who knows, maybe it'll help somebody else, okay? So, number one, and this is the truth, and it's very, very important, and it's very, very helpful for myself. I like to be totally intentional and plan ahead with what I buy. I can literally, if I really want to put my mind to it, and I've done it for several months, I can literally figure out my groceries for an entire month. Now, I'm not saying everybody should do that. I'm not saying even everybody could do that. But I am saying for me, this works. But the most important thing doesn't matter about the month because it could be for even 2 weeks. The real key part of the whole thing is being totally intentional and planning ahead for your meal or menu planning for what you get. And if you work around the sale items in your local area, that is the optimal best, in my honest opinion. Next, number two, I realized that in the last few months, and I try to keep this information in my head because it's a very important point. I have learned that in the last few months that the price of meat has gone up 5.9%. Hello, hello, hello. That's a lot of money. 5.9% is nothing to joke about. It's nothing to sneeze at. And just keep that in mind when you are doing your intentional planning of shopping, of what your meals are going to be, and so on and so forth. Very important to be knowledgeable and aware. You could always check certain things ahead of time in general, and that'll help you out. Next, and this is really true, make a lot of less ingredients in a meal. I keep my ingredients to a minimum, but I also know this trick. Using your favorite flavoring agents like onion powder, garlic powder, all those types of things, and spices, whatever. If you have plenty of that on hand, you will wake up maybe a simple, but some people consider called boring meal, and not necessarily. Sometimes swapping out some of the flavors and adding certain flavors to food makes something taste completely different. I've noticed that in my own habits and practices. I said, let me try a little lemon pepper, for example, on top of this roasted chicken. Yum. I like the lemon pepper a lot. That's just an example. So use less ingredients, but jazz it up, spice it up a little bit. You'll be amazed and shocked. That's a very low cost way to revamp a meal. Next, find ways to make healthier versions of snacks from home. Instead of greasy chips or anything like that, try to move away from it. It's not going to happen overnight. Make a healthier version of a, like, if you like the texture more than anything else, like the crispiness, the crunchiness, have some other crunch in your eating plan. For example, I love baby carrots. I think they're the easiest thing, and I talk more at length about that in a future video. You know something, before I forget to do this, I want to remind you of the following that none of us should forget to do. Why? Because it's important to do it. So hang on a second. I'll be right back. Thank you so much for clicking the thumbs up. It is fast, it is easy, and very, very helpful to not only this channel for growth, but to help other people as well. Thank you so much. So let's get back to snacking on the less expensive side. I personally, everybody's different, but I love keeping nice, clean baby carrots available in the refrigerator. If I'm looking for a little bit of crispy feel and a little bit of crunch, I'll grab a baby carrot. It does the trick. And I'm telling you, it helps really stave off the old appetite, for example, in between lunch and dinner. Grab a couple of those baby carrots. For me, this is workable and very, very affordable. Another option is to get some peanut butter. Instead of spending a ton of money on protein bars, peanut butter is an amazing protein. So if you put a little bit of peanut butter on a sliced apple, you could have the crisp and you could have the protein. A really, really great way to stretch in between meals and very inexpensive, in my honest opinion. So swapping out expensive snacks is a great idea. And being creative. I'm sure there are plenty of others. Let me know in the comments section below. This old fashioned rule works out for tip number 5. Cook once but eat twice from the original meal. A pre cooked chicken, for example, sometimes you could get a pre cooked chicken at the deli section of your grocery store after a certain hour, and you could get it on the cheap at a reduced price. But you could get so many choice meals from it. The original meal, and with whatever left over, you can make other stuff. You can make chicken croquettes. You can have it as a chicken salad. You can use the bones for soup, and so on and so forth. It really, really is a great budget stretcher and delicious too. Number 6, okay, it is 6, right? Yes, 6. Personally, I enjoy pantry salads. I don't always have to have a fresh from the farm salad. Example, I don't mind breaking open a can of chickpeas, draining it, rinsing and draining it, and adding, for example, a simple Italian dressing to it with cut up red onion, putting that in the refrigerator for a few hours. Oh my goodness, nice and chilled, that with whatever I'm eating as the main course. I am done. If you happen to have, for example, a tomato or a cucumber added to that, if you just happen to have it, that's even better. But I'm totally okay with it just as it is. Again, keeping my ingredients low is a huge, huge money saver, and it keeps things simple. All right, next, I love to have as a treat. I consider it a treat because I shallow fry it. But what I do is I make my own homemade rice patties with my cooked rice. It's all nice and dry and cleaned and sitting in the fridge a while. That way it stays, sticks together. And I'll take, for example, 1 or 2 eggs, depending on how many I make for myself or a bunch of other people. And I add a little bit of Parmesan cheese, dried parsley, and shredded mozzarella. You could even use the one in the bag, the convenient shredded mozzarella for that. And some Italian flavored breadcrumbs. Oh my word. Form it into a hamburger shape, and you've got yourself delicious rice patties. It's meatless, but it's not flavorless. Put a little bit of salt on top. You could eat them at room temperature. You could eat them hot. You could even eat it chilled. They are just so, so good. Pair that up with your favorite garden salad. You have an extremely inexpensive meal at that. But I think the most important thing to remember about this whole thing, the most important tip, and I would even consider it tip number 1 and tip number 7 at the same time. Be intentional in your meal planning, in your shopping. Some people don't like to use the words meal plan. They don't like to I don't know why. It's not such a big deal. It's not so much work. It just takes a little bit of a forethought. Sometimes when we try to plan things at an extremely busy time, that's not great. When you know you have a quiet minute, when we are not overwhelmed, when we can have a cup of tea or a cup of joe, whatever it is, or an iced tea or a lemonade, whatever you want, or just water, and sit there and put on some nice, soothing music of choice. No distractions. That's key. I don't care if you have to sit in the car sometimes. Sometimes sitting in the car is the best place to go when you want to have no distractions and make some plans. Even if you just type up your plans, for example, on your phone, like on a quick memo type of app. You could store your stuff right away. But I'm still old fashioned. I still grab my notebook and I still grab a pen. But that's me. The whole world doesn't have to think the way I do. I just laid out some of the basic things that I do that I could guarantee that it helped me. How do I know? Because I've done them and it works. So hopefully, if it helps me, it'll help you out just as well. Listen, these things are important. You know what I'm saying? Hold on for a minute and then I'll come back with a quick wave. I truly appreciate everybody's time. I really, really do. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And super thanks are absolutely welcome. And thank you for clicking like. Oh, yeah, subscribing wouldn't be too bad either. Take good care. Bye bye.